Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over the gloves known as the Unsung Ascetic wraps. The Unsung Ascetic wraps are a pair of gloves that is very specific to not only the Druid, but also the Lightning Storm Druid, and it's going to be an item that you're probably going to want to use for a Lightning Storm Druid, because there's no reason why not to. It's just amazing pair of gloves for a Lightning Storm Druid. You should probably be wearing these if you're using that skill. Oh, thanks for the follow, Demaris. So when it comes to Lightning Storm, you really have to kind of understand how the ability works. So let's start off by just simply using Lightning Storm. So Lightning Storm is a channeling ability, and every single time you use the ability, you want to hold down the button because you're basically spending a large amount of resource for the channel. It's very similar to the way that Inferno works on the Sorceress or Whirlwind works on the Barbarian, is that the longer you hold down the button, usually the greater the effect is, and it starts to stack up damage. In this particular case, the longer you hold down the button, the bigger the storm grows. It says conjure a growing storm that deals 26,280 damage per strike. The number of strikes increases the longer the storm is channeled, and up to a maximum of 6 at once. So you get 6 strikes going off at a single time if you can hold down the button long enough, and you can get as much damage as you possibly can, right? Well, basically what's going on with this particular item is that it is enhancing the Lightning Storm tremendously. So let's talk about what it's doing and how it's enhancing the Lightning Storm. So first off, it gives you 9 to 11% critical strike chance, which is going to feed into the way that the unique effect works, and it's something that you definitely want to keep in mind. It also has 103 to 135% damage to distant, which is going to help you scale your passive on the Paragon tree to get that Thunderstruck damage bonus. And I believe I am also scaling Thunderstruck. And as you can see, you can get up to a 60 times multiplier through damage to close and damage to distant bonuses. So this is going to help you hit that Thunderstruck passive relatively easily. It also gives you +5 to Lightning Storm, which is, of course, or up to +6 to Lightning Storm, which is the actual ability that is doing the damage, which, of course, is going to scale you tremendously. And then it also has +3 to Defiance. Defiance is the passive on the tree that gives you elite damage. And if we go down to that, you can see it right here. It's Defiance, Nature Magic Skills, deal 12 times increased damage to elites, which is definitely going to be useful for this particular build. The unique effect, which is the meat and potatoes of this item, and the reason why you're going to wear this item in the first place, is that Lightning Storm gains 1 additional strike each time it grows. So basically what this means is that as you're using it, normally you might start off with 1 strike, but instead you're going to start off with 2. And then when it grows, instead of going to 3, you're going to go to 4, and so forth and so on. And it's going to grow faster in general, which means it's going to have more strikes, and those strikes are going to start to stack up quicker to the maximum limit, which is definitely very nice. This means that in general, you're going to always be at the maximum limit for the most part. Then the secondary effect here is that Lightning Storm's critical strikes cause lightning to strike twice, dealing 40 times increased damage. So if you have crits, which you're going to want as much critical strike chance as you can get with this particular build, you're going to be able to get even more damage out of this by the crits causing additional strikes to happen, basically doubling your damage output for when a monster is hit by the original strike and it does a critical. And then on top of that, the critical strikes are increased in damage by 40% times. So not only, if you wear these, not only are you going to be able to maintain your 6 strikes much better. In fact, let's go ahead and put on a pair of these. Actually, I gotta...
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
I got a great graphics one. Not only are you going to be able to maintain your 6, but you're also going to get basically double that. Every single time it strikes, if it crits, you're going to get basically 12 at that point. So 12 total strikes going off at any given time. And it's going to be a much stronger and more powerful build just in general with these on. On top of this, just stacking things up like the pyramid over here, you can also turn Lightning Storm into a werewolf skill by using something like the Tempest Roar. Putting this on is going to turn your Lightning Storm into a wolf storm or whatever you want to call it. And it's going to make it so that instead of being a human while you're casting it, you're going to be a wolf while you're casting it. Now, why would you potentially want to do this? Well, there are ways that you can potentially scale the damage if it is a werewolf skill. So once it becomes a shapeshifting skill, once it becomes a werewolf skill, you can potentially start scaling it with other modifiers. Like, for instance, you could get guaranteed crits and more critical strike damage with lupine ferocity, which could be very interesting for this particular build. And there are definitely a lot of individual ways where you could make the werewolf side of things, help out the storm side of things, and so forth and so on, because they work very well together. All in all, these gloves are very well itemized for what they are, but they are also, unfortunately, in my opinion, very hyper specific to one build. So when you find these, if you're not planning on building a Lightning Storm Druid, you're probably not going to want these. And that's really all there is to it. More generic items like the Shard of Verithiel, or, things like, Ring of the Starless Skies that are usable across all characters tend to be more sought after in general. But I would definitely not count these out, because if you are doing a Lightning Storm build at any time, you are definitely going to want a pair of these gloves. The special flavor text on these says, "The Stormcaller returns day after day, demanding to meet the tree. He beats his chest and demonstrates his powers, refusing to believe that he will never be chosen." Excerpt from Gullius' diary. Now, if you're looking to find these particular gloves, you can find these at Beast in the Ice. And Beast in the Ice actually drops these along with other things. If you want to pull up this target farming tool, it's on Diablo 4.live, tools and target farming uniques. And as you can see, not only does Beast in the Ice drop the Unsung Ascetic wraps, he also drops the Fists of Fate, the Frosties, and the Pain Cordial gauntlets. He drops a lot of gloves. And you may actually have a little bit of trouble getting your hands on these, because most of the time he'll be dropping the other gloves for you instead of the ones you want. But if you do happen to find a really good pair of Fist of Fates, you can probably trade those easily for billions of gold and then just buy yourself a pair of Unsung Ascetic wraps at that point. I think that's pretty much it for this pair of gloves. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos. Be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you enjoy the content. And as always, keep watching.